indications that I've seen that plants will resonate with that. They will also resonate with the sounds that are imitative of the chirping of birds, particularly in the dawn. They have co-evolved with the life of the birds around them. In the morning, when life is just awakening from the night, the birds are active. There's a dew on the leaf of the plants. They're assimilating them. Certain life processes occur within that fabric of life that gets stimulated. So there are some people who work with this. They've come up with a sonic bloom sound patterning.
I have seen that.
You have seen that?
It's very fascinating. And I'm trying to find some more information about that, but it's hard to find, because it's not very widespread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's been a little bit of empirical tests done with that, and it's shown that in some situations there's been dramatic increase in plant size and productivity.
Yeah, the video I saw was a permaculture gardenist who was hippie orientation, was working with I want to say German or Russian quantum physicist. And so he basically did all the measurements and all the specific frequency, extrapolation on the sound frequencies, and then basically just sent it off to the permaculturist, and he put a speaker in the end of his greenhouse because he didn't believe that it was going to work. So he put it at one end, and then basically a couple of weeks later, it was a clear distinction that all the plants were going like this, a very linear progression, with the speaker on one side. And he based all of the frequencies and all of the harmonies off of that, basing off of natural cycles and birds and blowing of wind through trees and stuff like that. And that there was something that I don't understand, but what they said in the video was that the energy put out by the sound waves actually mimicked nutrients that weren't present in the soil. So that we had a tree that was fully productive as if it was getting these nutrients, but you can't find them in the soil that it's in.
There are those, they live in remote places, whose need for nutrients is very little because of the practices they do and the environment in which they live, and ways that they've trained themselves to extract life force directly from the environment. It is possible to, some say, to even live on air. But you could not do it in the crude environment of this city or other cities.
Yeah.
You have to be in some more pristine place. And your own structure needs to be very purified. You need to do the pranayama practices to open up your channels to the flow of prana. Meditative practices that clear out the kind of psychic gunk along the pathways that connect the chakras and things like this. Purify your body through certain kriyas or purification practices. There's so much toxicity in our bodies from the way we eat, just the environment we're in. It makes it challenging. But these ways will return. And not only return, but become even better established. We are at the dawn of a shift, sort of a planetary shift of consciousness. The high water mark of the impacts of materialism have been reached, and slowly is starting to recede. And in that space, there is increasing interest in more subtle aspects of life, such as what you're pursuing. You're talking about the light patternings or the energy pathways of different plants. And these have relationship to the healing powers of certain plants. There are ways to enhance that. If a plant is not stressed during its life, it's provided good water. If that water is vibrant, it comes from an artesian well, a mountain source. If it's grown in a nice atmosphere, maybe some mountainous or more remote place, if it gets proper nutrients, there's proper life in the soil, then that life force would be very strong in that plant. And it is possible to extract that. There's a little bit of this done with Bach flower remedies. But knowledge of this will also increase in the future. And there'll be ways to enhance that energy of the plant. I already mentioned some ways from the natural environment, but it can also come through the intentions of people around it, or through chanting and sound, as we've also mentioned, so that it becomes very strong, very vibrant. And then if you can take that patterning off and maintain that vibrancy and store that energetic patterning. For example, you may know a little bit about, it's a little known now about sacred geometry. If you're in a pyramid in particular, there comes to be a focusing of energy. So were this plant extract to be stored in a pyramid, in a certain position within that pyramid, in a certain kind of container, a certain kind of metal, then it would maintain very strong potency. And a whole new category of medicines will arise out of this kind of science, emerging science. It is not so far off. The efficacy of many antibiotics is being lost due to the coevolution of bacteria, viruses to the antibiotics, and there will be need for this new category of pharmaceuticals to be available in humanity.
Yeah, that kind of gets me off of my next question. So I kind of consider this the two generalistic ways of interacting with plants. Is you can have an honored plant or animal, where you can basically go out into nature where they are and ask them for permission to, you know. And I was wondering if you could flesh out your understanding of those kind of ideas a little bit.
So when you go out in nature, and you take this attitude of honoring the plant, of feeling gratitude to the plant, that is as much for your own sake as it is for the plants. Because it is strengthening within you this feeling of compassionate relationship toward all life. Here is a living entity that is sacrificing its life or part of its life for my well-being. It is a living being. I am a living being. I respect that. I feel gratitude toward it. You are indirectly strengthening the awareness that we all live as a part of a oneness of being, an interrelated fabric of being. And when you have that awareness, it engenders deep compassion. It is no longer possible to feel an alienation, a separation between yourself and the other, but rather you feel a kind of an intimate connection with the other. And that bond of connection is an expression of love.